Several times in worship lately, I have seen in the hymns and in the scripture readings the words exalt, exult. And I have wondered to myself, what's the difference? And what exactly do these words mean anyway? And as I began to do some very in-depth biblical and linguistics research called a Google search, I found that I was also missing another word that goes with these two, and that word is extol. Well, ever more curious, I went even deeper into my scholastic research with a few more Google searches and a question or two put to my favorite AI engine, and here's what I have learned. That these three words, exalt, exult, and extol, are used to say nice things about God. It's like when you tell your friend or family something good that you like about them and you give them the, "Oh, way to go, you're awesome." But these words are especially handy for praising God. Now, these words sound a bit stuffy, maybe a little fancy because, well, they all come from the more ancient language of Latin. Each of these words begins with the same two letters, with an E and an X, and the EX in Latin means up or out, as in exit. So when you use these three words of exalt or exult or extol, we're talking about lifting things up before God, or even to lift His name up, just like when you say something nice and uplifting to another person to praise them. But having said all of this, keep in mind that each of these words has a slightly different nuance, and they're not interchangeable. Here's what I mean. Exalt comes from a Latin word that means high. So when we exalt God, it's like saying God is really high and important, best ever. Exult is slightly different because it comes from a Latin word that means to jump. So when we exult about God, it's like jumping up with joy because God is so amazing and awesome. Finally, extol comes from the Latin word that means to raise up. So when we extol God, it's like trying to raise God up with our words, saying how great and special He is. In all of these words, the cool part is that we're saying nice things about God and putting God in a special and important place. It's like when you tell someone how much you love them and appreciate them. And each of these words has a special emphasis in letting God know your joy, praise, your excited animation, just jumping out of your seat for all that He is and does and will ever do. So, get up, exult with a U, and shout out your high praises, or extol with an O, and exalt the Lord with an A. Who knew that all of this fine distinction was in just a few similar Latin words that we say in English to praise and worship our God? Yeah, wouldn't it be great then, even cool, to bring all of these words with you this weekend for Bible study and worship? I know the forecast is predicting bone-chilling weather, but if 70,000 plus people will sit outside this coming Saturday for several hours to cheer on the Chiefs at the GEHA Stadium, then maybe, just maybe, we could sit inside for 1 or 2 hours in our climate-controlled worship areas. I know, just a thought. See you all this weekend, and go Chiefs!